Hello, welcome to Full Time Reds. It's me, Chris Brack, and it's Kev. It finished Liverpool 3, Brighton 3. And let's be honest, Kev, Liverpool were pretty shite, weren't we? Like, we can't put it anywhere. We were pretty poor, and Brighton deserved minimum a point today. There's no sugarcoating it. Liverpool just weren't up to it.
No, for the first 25 minutes of the game, we were given an absolute lesson. And we were exposed at the back. Brighton were getting at us too easy, playing through us too easy. All around, for the first 25 minutes, we were poor. We changed it, it improved. And then he reverted back to type in the second half. And we drew him onto us. And what happened next was inevitable. And at 2-0 down, I'd have taken a point all day long because it looked like we were going to get nowhere near it. At 3-2 up, you're sickened and you're kicking yourself. But overall, that game was a draw is a fair result over the 95 minutes. Not too fussed about the result, but the performance was a problem.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Let's start from the beginning. So, team came out. Any sort of surprises for you?
Look, the only real surprise was Carvalho, but when you hear why, it kind of makes sense. Klopp was saying pre-match that Darwin and Diaz came back with knocks, so you're not going to risk them, not with the volume of games that you got coming out. You're not going to crook one of them right at the start of this run. So the team itself, I thought Bobby was a nailed on to start anyway because he hadn't really been away and played, so he would have been freshest. Midfield, I thought if you're going to start Carvalho, you're not going to start Elliott at the same time, so that made sense. And the back four plus Alisson picks itself, so I wasn't too bad with that.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I was a little surprised Henderson started. I thought because he'd been out for so long, he might have been saved for midweek against Rangers, and maybe we would have rotated out Firmino. I'd assumed Elliott would have started, but well, look, let's just start of it. It was all Brighton. We can't deny it. It was all Brighton, and they took the goals well. And I'm trying to think back because both goals were shite. I think to the first one. So the first one, Trent. It's not a great header out. For me, Henderson's got to be stronger there. He's got to win the header or at least make it awkward.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to the guy, and it's a great body swerve past Trent, and he finishes it low and hard in the corner. So,
he done Trent with a bit of skill. It was a good finish. It was a good goal, but it was coming because of the way they started. They're ahead of us on the table for a reason, and they're a good side. Anyone watched last night? This is why I looked at Brighton. I thought these are going to be a really tough game, mainly because of how confident they are in their attitude to how they play, and they commit 100% to it. And you saw it in the first 25 minutes where they created the overloads. They were able to get around us, and once they created overloads on a fullback, it was a nightmare waiting to happen. Alisson kept us in it for a good while, made some really key saves at important times. And people can moan and groan about how we played. Sometimes you just got to take your hat out and say, yeah, Brighton were really good and they deserved the 2-goal lead. They deserved it on merit. They just outplayed us, outfought us. Tactically they were better. Klopp got it badly wrong with the setup. Not so much the personnel, but if you're playing that's the way that if you're playing against a side like Brighton and how they play, you have to either commit to the press fully, or you drop off and you win it in the middle third. But we didn't do either or. We were stuck in a halfway house, and we created our own problems. I mean, the first goal from Trossard was really good, but the second goal from him came from Trent taking a header in his own half, and Welbeck read it. I mean, Trent was right to try to take the header, but if you make that decision, you gotta get the ball and come away with the ball. But Welbeck read it, and he was in again, and Trossard had an absolute brilliant game. He was a live wire all the way through.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, there's a lot of we'll bring to the chat because I've already seen a few wild ones about the manager, which we'll We will bring up. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I felt Trent first half in the end. He started doing. It felt a bit like the Gerrard 13-14 against Chelsea. He was trying. He was all over the place, but right back at one point, which was bizarre. But look, as much people are digging Trent out, look, he wasn't good today. Van Dijk and Matip were piss poor. You know, neither of them would follow a runner. You know, for the second goal, Van Dijk, you can see him stood next to him, watches him, and then only reacts when the guy's got the ball. It's far too late. It's far too slack. The Welbeck header, Matip can see him all the way and lets him go. You know, the midfield three, none of them were particularly great. I think that's the worst pass performance I've seen from Thiago in Liverpool. I think it was like low 70s. It's very un-Thiago-like. Ball in sloppy areas. And the front three, they just impressed the unit. It was just one here, one there, one here, one there. It was a bit half-cocked, really. And then we get ourselves back into it. Henderson gets the ball, chips it on to Salah. It's a lovely touch out wide, and it falls to Bobby. Dean, just to clear us up, I'm not blaming people for being fuming. If you think it's a car crash, that sound. But when I've already seen 4 shouts saying time for the manager to go, the manager's losing it. This is like Dortmund. I do think they're a bit over the top. So that is where I will call it a bit wild. I'll call it as I see it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's good. Look, it was tight. See the VAR replay, and it is on, but it's a tight one. You're thinking, and you thought that's a bit of a fucking lifeline, that, because you're thinking going in at 2-1, grand. Yeah. You know, we haven't been great, but we've gone in at 2-1. Let's regroup and see how we go. Because to be honest, I said to you, we need the win. If draws are no good to us now, we've already dropped too many silly points. If you keep drawing, then you know you can't blame.
After 25 minutes, he changed the shape. We went with 2 up top, and we got right back into. We started creating a lot more chances, and we had there was a few half chances in the first half before we got the goal. Mo had one as well that keeper saved, but we looked a lot more threatening when we went to 2 up top, and we looked safer.
We did.
We looked a lot more secure on the off the ball with the 2 up top and the 4 in midfield. You know, they were really tight 4. So,
which is why when we switched back to 4-3-3 at half time, it was a little bit baffling. Because you're sort of going,
right.
Well,
is there any mods in the chat?
Why's that?
Paul Era, you're out of here, kid.
Okay, I'll find it.
Because if I have to come back in to the chat and blow you out of it, then you're gone, mate. Look, I can understand everyone's frustration. Everyone's pissed off. Completely get that. But at the end of the day...
Oh, this one. Who cares what you think or have a right to be angry? Yeah, got every right to be angry. If you don't agree with us, that's sound. You don't need to be...
That's fine. There's no need to be like that. There's no need to be an arsehole about it.
No. So, never mind. So that's one done. So listen, I'm going to bring some comments up in a minute because, you know, and by the way, it's not like me and Kev are happy. This is not happy faces. We're not going, thank fuck, it's 3-3. I mean, to be honest, the way the first half went, I was thinking, thank fuck, we're not 4-1
timing people
down.
out because of their fucking attitude, lad. It's as simple as that. And if I was in there, he'd have been gone completely. At the end of the day, we are pissed off. Make no mistake about it. Angry about the performance, angry about the result, angry about the tactics. But if you think that this is how any way our fault, then, you know, do one.
Yeah, so thank you. Mark Kavanagh saying Klopp wants to manage Núñez, Diaz, Jota for what? Prem and top 4 will be gone. I think what he said for Núñez and Diaz was they came back late from international duty and had
with issues. Yeah.
With issues. And Jota, it was reported that he signaled to the bench on 7 he wanted to come off because he was feeling it in his legs. So I'm assuming he's gone with the 3 lads who have had the least amount of minutes in the legs, which Bobby barely played for Brazil. Carvalho didn't do much for them 21s, I don't think, and Mo only played 1 game. So he went with I think he went with the lads he felt were the fittest. Now they didn't turn up and they didn't play very well, but the logic is there as to why he's picked some of those players and why he hasn't. Sprinksley's up here. Earl's put Alisson and Firmino played well. Trent and Salah were useless. I think quite a few of them were, to be fair.
Yeah.
Trent should have been hacked off a long time ago. Yeah, I thought he would have took Trent off, but I suppose the question is, and a lot of saying, why was Milner brought on? Our sort of theory is we think because Robbo is probably at least another week to 2 weeks away, you've got to ask Tsimikas to play 4 games on the bounce. So I think you've got to manage his minutes a little bit. Otherwise, you're going to have no left back. And unfortunately for us, the third choice left back is Gomez or Milner. So that's kind of where they were.
And to be fair, Milner didn't do anything really wrong when he came on, and Tsimikas wasn't really doing anything either way while he was on.
No,
he wasn't exactly threatening going forward.
Yeah,
and at the back, he wasn't asked any questions, to be fair, but he was okay. It didn't make a blind bit of difference to the result, taking Tsimikas off. And you have to appreciate the fact that we're going to be playing 3 games this week and 3 games every week. You can't play everyone the same 11 all the time. There's going to be rotation. There's going to be subs made, and sometimes it'll work. Sometimes it just won't.
So,
and today, do you know what? I think, in fairness, all right, at 3, even when we got it back to 2-0, despite the fact that he reverted back to a 4-3-3 when Diaz came on at half-time, it was a live wire. And we got a second goal, then fluked the third. The third goal was a pure pox. It was just one of those goals that, if they go for you, great. If they go against you, you're fuming. But what the hell are you? I never felt comfortable when we reverted back to a 4-3-3, mainly because they were able to play through us, and at least when it was 4-4-2, we were a bit more threatening going forward. We just we looked more secure. So I don't get it.
Let's just address this. Herschel Benson, because for some reason, and apparently if you're writing caps, it must mean you're angry. This goes out to Gab. This channel used to call out bullshit. Now we're defending this as mediocre shite. I'd love to know at one point where me and Kev have gone, it wasn't that bad. We were fucking, we were saying at halftime, we said already, we were fucking relieved it wasn't 4-1 at halftime. That's how bad we were. And not one of us is saying it's great. So I think you just need to calm down a little bit. And if you're going to carry on being like that, go somewhere else.
I'll tell you what, you know where Gav's at is. You know what his at is on Twitter. If you want to complain, by all means.
The fact we're defending Milner is horseshit rubbish. It isn't. It's a people
fact.
asking the chat, why do we think Milner came on? We give a reason why we think. We give a reason what we thought. If you wanted to ask about subs that we didn't like, I thought the Elliott sub caused us more problems than it caused the world. Now, I understand Henderson going off because he's coming back from an injury, but Elliott came on. I don't think he was great in the ball, and I think he's really a big factor in the third goal, as in he's trotting back. He's not running back, which he's got caught out before. He got caught out in the Ajax goal for that as well. So, if we're going to criticise subs, I'd criticise that one. I understand people getting upset about Nunez not coming onto the legs. I'd have brought him on sooner, but we did throw Jota on instead of Firmino. So we did throw a striker on, and he obviously wanted to keep the pace out wide with Diaz and Salah, which the Diaz sub actually worked really well. So, I think people just need to add this. I mean, you're saying Elliott had some attacking impetus, Herschel. He did, yeah, but at 3-2, I didn't need attacking impetus. I needed him to do his job as a defensive player, which is the role in a midfielder is at 3-2, you help see the game out. And he wasn't the only one, but he was a big part. He was a part of why the third goal went in. He wasn't the only
Shane's
one.
actually making a really good point there at the bottom. Outplayed by a better side. I don't think they're a better side, but I think you're right with the fact that they're a more balanced side.
Yes, definitely more balanced.
And you could tell in the way that they played that they were confident. Even when they were 3-2 down, they're confident enough that they'll get a chance. So they are a more balanced side than us at the moment. That's for sure.
Arsenal for life never looks so forward to playing it. Listen, I'll be honest. We are we're looking at the soft touch.
Yeah, we are.
We are looking at the soft touch at the moment. Kieran saying signs Nunes and Arthur and brings on 37-year-old James Milner. He does, but Nunes and Arthur aren't going to play left back. So, the only other option you have for left back was Joe Gomez. And I think the last time Joe Gomez played left back was probably when he first signed for Brendan Rodgers. So, whether people like the Milner sub or not, there's a reason he took Tsimikas off. So what can we do? And also we're not the manager, so we can only call what we see. So So at the moment, Kev, we're 2-1 down, and I'll be honest, I said to you that you need a win at this game. I mean, listen, a draw's no good for us. I really don't think a draw's any good for us. We need wins now. We've dropped too many points. That's Brighton, Palace at home, losses away to to United, the draw at Fulham. There's too many of them now. And look, this is where the manager's got to earn his corn, and he's got to, he will get criticised for these sort of performances and, tactical changes that he's made, because ultimately, like we said, he switched to a 4-4-2 and that looked good. And then we switched to 4-3-3 and we looked so wide open because while we were pressing them a lot higher in the second half, which was creating chances, 2 quick passes and we were sometimes 3-on-2. Yeah. So we were playing very high risk. Look, and when we go 3-2 up, you think, well, it's worked. We'll go 3-2 up. But we will see.
Herschel appreciate that, by the way.
What's that, sorry?
Herschel's comment there. Appreciate that. That's fine.
Also, we can't be saying it was Elliott that had to be breaking down from the midfield. We have Fabinho and Thiago for that. However, I disagree. I am upset and apologise for that. That's fine, mate. No problem. We all get that. But I think it is his job to break it up because at 3,
it's down his side.
It's down his side, and when you play midfield 3, that's your role. You've got to cover the right hand side. So I mean, Jono saying Henderson, would he have made any difference? He was atrocious again today, running in mud. So was Fabinho. He's on the decline. I'll be honest, Thiago wasn't much better. Thiago couldn't pass a ball a lot today. That's the worst I've seen Thiago pass a ball, which is very unlike him. I still think we started with that's probably our best midfield 3. And none of them were great. But, let's talk about the equaliser. It's a good goal. Henderson gets it in the box, plays it out calmly to Thiago, who plays in Diaz, cuts it into Bobby. It's a lovely little body swerve. It's a nice finish. It's a really good goal. Bobby Firmino. That is the Bobby Firmino goal, isn't it?
Bobby's second goal. Bobby's second goal was so well. The composure to take that was really good. Diaz, obviously, he just waited and waited and waited. That was really good. But yeah, it started off with Henderson passing the ball out from his own box in a position where a lot of players would have hoofed it. And it started off from there. And it wasn't the first time he's done that. He did it in the first half as well for the first goal. He'll get criticised, rightly so, for his some of his decision-making at the back. But his passing going forward today is the reason why we've got a point. It's that simple.
Yeah, just to bring up 2 ones there. And he's saying, but Thiago is better, Chris. Fair. He is better, but on today, he wasn't playing for it. We'll talk about today's game. I'm not talking about overall who's the best player. It's clearly Thiago. But today, they weren't great. Neither were particularly great, I don't think.
Yeah, and Thiago's an outstanding player, and that's why you look at it. You look at Thiago and you say, for him to have his passing that poor,
and this is the point.
Is so rare. That's why it stood out like a sore thumb.
And this is the point I'm trying to make, John. He's saying Thiago isn't there to provide legs. I didn't say he was there to provide legs in the midfield, but his job is to be the passing influence, to really create chances. And today he was off it. It's not me calling him out, saying he's a bad player, anything silly like that. It's just me saying how I see it, which was I don't think he played very well, and I don't think his passing was great. But I'm not sat here saying, but everybody else was brilliant, because they weren't.
They weren't. Far from it. The only ones that really you can look at who's come out of it today with any credit is Alisson was the only reason that we've got anything out of it. I thought Bobby was good. On and off the ball, Bobby was okay. It was, but his finishing was good. His composure was good. There was a couple of times he flicked on balls for Salah to get onto. They didn't quite work out, but that's what you want. You want to see that coming from him. When you see him dropping too deep, it plays us into a massive amount of trouble. But overall, Bobby's game was really good. Diaz, when he came on, impacted the game. He was absolutely fine. I had no real problem with Diaz. But I mean, I knew today was going to be a tough game. I just had felt it in my bones coming back to play against a side like Brighton, especially with the new manager, with how well they've been playing this season. It's a kick in the teeth to how far we've dropped, but they are a good side. They are a very good side, and they're very good at what they do. So, look, it's a disappointing point for sure.
I think Rail's point, Thiago getting criticised, but Milner did nothing wrong. Wow.
Tell me, Ria, what did Milner do wrong when he's on the pitch for 20 minutes? And, well, no, more than happy to read it out. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I think
but
between
he did
him,
nothing exceptional. He did nothing out of the way.
I think
wrong.
For the third Brighton goal, between him and Diaz, one of them isn't picking him up, and it's a bit of a debate which one of them is. I mean, we'll come back to our goal. Their third goal is Salah loses the ball, it gets broken into midfield. Elliott doesn't break his neck to get back. Trent gets played around. Cross comes in, and both Matip and Van Dijk are quite lazy trying to clear it. It's really lazy. And it's a great fit. To be fair to it, it's a good finish.
It's a really good finish. Alisson was unlucky not to get a hand to it. He almost got it.
I think he puts it onto the other side of the bar. But he doesn't get enough in it.
I think Matip is the one, I suppose, you have to look at. He has to stop the cross.
Yeah.
You know, whatever about the play. I mean, Salah jumps the line to try to nick it, and Webster brings the ball through. Then Elliott gets stuck between here and there. He doesn't know which way to go. They get it wide, knock it in. But once the ball gets to just before where Matip could affect the cross, he can't close that gap. But he has to somehow he has to try to block that cross. Then when it comes across, it goes through Virgil's legs, and Trossard buries it. It's just one of those. So there's a litany of occasions where you can stop the cross and stop the ball getting to where it got to. And once it got across, Trossard finishes it really well. But ultimately, I think it's Virgil and Joel have to carry the can, because look, sides will get out wide, but out wide it's not a real threat until they get to where Joel is. That's when it becomes a live threat. And then Joel has to affect that. He has to affect that cross coming across.
Yeah,
Virgil has to do better with the ball.
We were talking.
He can't let it go through his fucking legs.
Yeah, we were talking before and said like, I think someone put the stat away. It's 12 out of the last 15 games we've gone behind now. I've said to you, you can't keep relying on a comeback. No, comebacks are great because you do need that in you, but it can't be every game, because eventually that takes it out your legs. And I think that's that's been the problem now is there's too many comebacks. Every game you're going, we've got to score two, or in this case 3, and it's still not enough. You can't keep doing that. And look, I've seen a few talk about transfers now, and it can be boring. It is a boring chat, but look, transfers aren't going to happen now until, if you're lucky, January or next summer. So we've got to find a way of working with what we've got. There's still players there that
Herschel mentioned there about Calvin Ramsey. I think he's either got a run out or he's going to get a run out tomorrow for the under-23s, along with a few others.
No,
under-23s. He's just
under-23s played today. Keller played. I think they were hoping he was going to play the next game, Ramsey. But again, this is what was Ramsey? 19-year-old kid.
19-year-old kid, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he comes in and he does really well for us. But it's going to take a while for him to get up. No pre-season, and we're seeing that with Jota. That's why Jota's not starting as many games, because he's got no pre-season. Which is really frustrating. Right, let's just talk about our partners. So, BetterHelp. So, BetterHelp is an online therapy that offers you video, phone, and even live online chat therapy sessions. So you don't have to see anyone on a camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. So for you guys, they are offering you 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/daytrippers. That's betterhelp.com/daytrippers. And our other partner is IP Vanish, which I'll be honest, after that performance, I wish we'd IP Vanish as well, because it's getting harder doing these, isn't it, Kev? Because it's rubbish. Look, IP Vanish, they are now. They're our VPN partner, sponsor, sorry, not partner. And for those guys, it's better than going on incognito, because this will hide all your data, 100%. That's all your passwords, your communications, your browsing history, and basically make you invisible online. And it doesn't sacrifice speed, and you can use it on unlimited devices, computers, tablets, phones, and Fire Sticks. And you guys are being offered 70% off your yearly plan and 30-day money-back guarantee. So you're basically getting 9 months for free, and these guys are 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers, ipvanish.com/daytrippers. All the details are in the link below. And final one, Paramount Plus Champions League, which is back for us on Tuesday, isn't it, Kev?
Yeah. Tuesday night. Oh, mate.
Fucking hell.
This completely fucking ruined my weekend, so I don't really give a flying fuck about the Champions League at the
I
minute.
know, but if you watch Champions League and you don't want to listen to BT Sport and listen to Steve McManaman and Rio Ferdinand, Paramount Plus is there for you. I think it's under €10 a month, and you can get it with some of the Sky package as well. So, and they've got exclusive rights to all the
Sky Movies. I think if you've got Sky Movies, you can get Paramount Plus for free. So it's worth a crack. It is actually really good. But seeing if you look, we'll just get into this quickly. I mean,
let me look at some of the other ones.
Go on.
Obviously, the comment brought up before. Time for Klopp to go. It's your opinion, mate, but I don't agree with it. Yeah. Keep playing Trent, who just watches the ball.
Okay,
fair enough.
That's it.
Everyone's opinions, but me and Kev, look, I don't agree. I'm not going to speak for Kev. The manager doesn't go. The manager just moves. Nowhere, so. No, he's a good enough manager to get this sorted.
This is probably his first real dip with a full squad in 7 years. If you're that shallow, then yeah, fair enough. It's on you, but not a chance for me. As for Trent, there's not. I mean, I get the argument. Is people will say, play Joe Gomez and what have you. Last time Joe Gomez played, he looked like he was a fish out of water. So you stick him at right back. Look, it might have to happen, but I'd be amazed. I would genuinely be really surprised if it did happen. But
just to call it out again, we've already said, look, guys, if you don't agree with us stuff in chat, that's fine. Bring up your reasons. We'll bring them up. We'll have a chat. If you persist in putting things like top reds, or I've just seen someone call as an FSG, and I'm not going to read the rest of it, do us a favor. You're not welcome on this channel. So go away. The idea of this is we'll interact with everyone, but Kev and I aren't sitting there and taking nonsense crap off people who are just being basically a keyboard warrior. So if you're going to do that, last warning, you'll just get instant bans now. Because quite frankly, me and Kev aren't enjoying talking about Liverpool being poor, but we like to talk about football, so we'll talk about it. If you're just going to be, as I will call you, an arsehole, I'll just block you. So there's your final warning. The person who's done it has already been blocked, so keep going, because it doesn't bother me, because me and Kev do this for the fun of it. We don't do this because we're getting paid to do this, do we, mate?
Far from it. But look, Kev Ball made the point there earlier on that we should have done more in the summer, and yeah, that's by the by now. I completely get it. I think we all pretty much said the same. We needed to do more in the summer, but we didn't, and we are where we are now.
Yeah, there is a misconception. There is a misconception that me and Kev also said, "Oh, everything's grand." I think our phrase was, "We'd have liked to have done more, but if we don't, we're not going to sit and cry about it every week because A, it's tiresome. B, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't. But me and Kev shouting on the internet isn't going to make the FSG go, "Oh, do you know what? The lads are right. Let's spend more." The club and the manager made that decision. That's why I'm saying the club and the manager now got to make it work. If they don't, they don't. But that's on them. That's not. I'd have bought another midfielder in the summer. I may have even bought two.
Kev, I get it, Kev. I get it. I get where you are, and I get where you're coming from. I truly, truly do. But it doesn't make a blind bit of difference now. It's like January's months away. And there's no amount of planning that you can do now that's going to affect then. So to me, it's like it's the next game. That's all that matters is the next game and seeing who's fit on Monday to play on Tuesday. And then see who's fit again to play again next weekend, and on and on and on. It might just be a case that we can play our way into some kind of form. They've got no choice. They've got to turn it. They've got to find a way to, when they cross the white line, of turning this around. The manager can carry the can for a certain amount of it, because tactically, I think he got a few things wrong today. But overall, the players just weren't at it. They really weren't. And like I said, Alisson and Bobby aside from the starting 11, they can all play a lot better than this. They're all much better than this. And we know they are. But maybe it's a case that, look, the squad is just run. Current squad, there's players within the current squad, established players within the squad that are just run. And it wouldn't surprise it would be surprising if they aren't hitting a brick wall at times. You know, it's like they've given us all everything for years, and maybe it's just a case they're hitting a brick wall and they can't do it. You know, and it's little mistakes. It's the 5% that are being caught out and exposed, and it's not like we were playing against a side today that were struggling at the bottom of the league or struggling for form, or they sacked their manager because they were in a poor vein or something. They weren't. They really weren't. Brighton are a really good side, and they're really progressive. They're a really good attacking, open side who commit players forward and ask you a lot of questions. And at the end of it, we're disappointed with a draw. But you know, if you look at the league table on its own in isolation, it's not the worst point. It is for us in where we are and where we need to be and where we want to be. But at the minute, all talks about titles and stuff like that gone. Forget that. We're literally in a battle for the top four.
Until we can start getting a run going.
That's it.
That's
the
what it is.
Reality of it.
But when will we get a run going? Your guess is as good as mine at the moment. We were hoping.
It is, but if you look at it in a case, okay, you might need to be looking to get 78 points this season. Then picking up draws when you're playing bad is a way to get there. We're not going to play badly all the time. We're just not. There's too much quality within the squad to keep playing badly. But at the same time,
it's frustrating, isn't it? Because it's just frustrating because that's where we're at the moment. It just doesn't feel like we can get a consistent run going, and I think that's the frustration. Which look, it's winding everyone up, which is really helping,
we completely get the frustration, and no one's more frustrated than me. I can tell you that from a personal point of view. I love nothing more than coming on and talking about a nice 3-0 win where we just DOS for 20 minutes at the end and just rested and rotated players. That's my utopia at the minute. But for every game this season so far, bar one, we've been in a dogfight for every single game. And, you know, you just got to get through it. There's no choice.
Just Rails put this up, which is nice to support. Respect the guys. They are taking the time out of their day to bring us content. Keep it respectful, guys. We're all livid, but it's not LFC Daytrippers' fault. We drew. Imagine if we had that power, Kev.
Fucking hell. I'd send Shawnee into the dressing room at halftime just for the bants.
Oh,
with a camera phone, just to see him bail people out of it left, right, and centre.
Yeah, they need a little bit of that. But the frustration is, and I think that it's the third goal that's the real kicker, because they've managed to get themselves back into it, back ahead. And you think, right, and I said to you, fuck me, I hope we can see this out, and we've got. And my general thought was, we've got away with this one, and then we can, see where we're going. But look, if you're being brutally honest, the minimum Brighton deserves a draw. We just weren't good enough today, and it's one of those.
Yeah, Brighton deserved the draw because mainly if you look at the saves that Alisson made. I mean, the Welbeck header in the first half, Welbeck should have scored that. There was 2 saves that he made with his feet. Alisson was really good. There was nothing he could do about the goals.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything.
Whenever I'm in a game, whenever I'm watching a game, and when I start to get nervous and worried, is when we start going back to Alisson too much with the ball. We're trying to retain possession. We're retaining possession by going back to the keeper and around. That scares the bejesus out of me. But especially against the side, the way Brighton were set up with the 3 midfielders and the 2 strikers and the wing backs making a pressing 7. They were comfortable enough leaving their 3 centre backs at the back to defend. They were comfortable enough. And when you ask a keeper to keep doing that, you're drawing pressure onto yourself. That draws anxiety onto the crowd. That goes back onto the pitch. It's just, there's no need of it because we're normally comfortable enough on the ball to be able to retain possession in opponents' half of the pitch and kill the game that way. But credit to Brighton for forcing the way we played, or the way they played on us, and it caused us no end of problems. No end of problems today.
I mean, let's talk about Darwin Núñez, because a few are saying, he only got 5 minutes, which is like, you signed a guy with 5 minutes. I mean, he got thrown on because they'd gone 3-3. I don't think he was 3-3. Yeah. So again, we don't know what he's carrying. I mean, Jota came on. I don't think he got a kick, did he? And maybe, look, this is a bit Sunday League alehouse, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. Maybe in hindsight, at 3-2, when you're going to take Bobby off, maybe you do throw Nunes on it and just say, almost like say, be a focal point, just hold it up, win frees, just basically give Brighton something to think about.
Yeah, it's I agree. I would have brought him on earlier, but we don't know what he's carrying, like you said. If he said at the start he'd come back from international duty with a niggle, and he was requested apparently by the medical department not to start either, then it's a case of, look, he might have been told, okay, Diaz can give you a half. Try not to use Darwin unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And in fairness, Jota is not a muppet.
No. It's
ordinary circumstances. Look, I'd have almost always expected Jota to start today. So it wasn't a case that he did either or, but bringing him on for the last 5 minutes was a bit of a Hail Mary. Like,
it was just a hail. It wasn't the.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, like, you had Virgil staying up front, you had Darwin up front, you had Trent playing centre back with Matip, and he was going forward as well, leaving Matip on his own. So they tried everything and anything to get 3 points. And for the last few minutes, I was like, please don't get caught in the counter and throw it away. At 2-0 down, we didn't really deserve the point in the first place. But the fact that you've wangled into a situation where you're going to end up at a point, don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I think that's the frustration, is throwing it away. Danny, actual question: what would you do for the next match? Probably drink before it.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting on the cans on Tuesday night. 100% I'm getting on the cans Tuesday night.
I think Darwin will start. My gut feeling was Darwin was going to get both the Rangers games anyway. And I think if he hadn't had the niggle, I think Jota would have got the next couple of games.
Ibu's the one for me to watch.
I would start Ibu.
If he's ready, yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised to see Milner start in midfield, purely and simply because it's Rangers. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it's Thiago who misses out. And I wouldn't mind seeing Harvey Elliott come in there as well. I think Fabinho will play. I think Salah starts. I think Darwin starts. And probably Diaz starts. Tsimikas. Yeah, Tsimikas will play.
Because we haven't got any
Virgil will play.
I would
Ibu, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd like to see Ibu play. It probably has to be Trent, because the choices is Trent, Gomez, or Milner, really. So that's what
I don't really watch enough of Rangers to know, but I know that if you're, are we at home?
Yeah, we're at home.
We're at home. Yeah, I mean, look, they'll try to make it physical in the middle of the park if they're anything like the typical kind of Rangers players and Rangers style of play. They'll try to make it physical. So I wouldn't mind having Milner in the middle of the park with Fabinho.
I'd actually like to
free up Harvey, if anything.
I'd actually like to see Arto start. He's been a bit funny, like Arto Melo. He's been training enough now. He's been with Liverpool. He's played a few under-23s games, and if we think he is supposed to be Thiago light, then if you can't start him against Rangers, when will he start?
Maybe. But look, that's I'm sure Monday night. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a show Monday night.
Yeah,
the lads will go through that. I mean, tomorrow night, the Fatback Four, you'll get 4 different perspectives on today's game again. I mean, for us at the minute, it's really raw, and it's really like, this is the downside with post-match reactions. That when it goes sideways, it's instant, and it's like it's raw as fuck. And tomorrow, cold light of day, might look at things differently. I don't know, but I think you'll get 4 different perspectives tomorrow night, and see how the lads see it 24 hours later.
Yeah. JJPK saying, lads, please listen to yourselves. We're smashing Rangers. I'm glad you listen. We all hope we do. We're just we're still a bit deflated after this another shitty draw, really.
Yeah, look, if we can't beat Rangers at home in the Champions League, then it's not a mini disaster. I mean, it's a full-blown crisis, and that's the truth. It's an absolute full-blown crisis because of the situation of the Champions League, situation of the league that we're in at the minute, and despite the results, There's games this season that we've drawn that we should have lost, and another season that we've lost, and that, you often hear about, people talking about you don't care about performances, you care about results. But if you're not seeing the performances, the results aren't going to come by accident. So, like, it's chicken and egg. You need to see we need to start seeing a performance. No, I don't think it's a crisis already, but it's not good, Kev. It's not good, but it's not a crisis.
It doesn't feel far off it. I mean, 7 games in, 10 points. It's not. Yeah. It's not great. 11 points.
No, it's not great. It's not great by any stretch. Don't get me wrong, but
let's put reality.
Look, I remember when Klopp got sacked at Dortmund, that was full blown crisis, because it wasn't a case that they weren't doing it on the pitch. It was they fell apart completely on it and off of it. At the minute, as bad as things are, we're picking up points, and they're not the points we want. But I think we've still one loss. Is it one loss in the league this season?
Yeah, too many draws.
Too many draws, but
too many draws, and
one loss.
But ultimately,
the league's gone, and 100% the league's gone. That's a given. The league's gone. City there's going to be a procession,
and it's City and Arsenal next 2 games. So it's not like it's you've got games to break yourself in. Arsenal at the moment are in really good form, and it's not great that I'm not being rude. Like, it's not being great. It's not great. 11 points behind Arsenal.
No,
they're a good side, but I don't think
football goes in cycles, my man.
It does, unfortunately.
Football goes in cycles.
It does.
It goes around and comes around, so you enjoy it while you can. But there's no point in dragging yourself through the mire on a Saturday night when you personally can't affect anything. So
no.
As much as it fucking drives me fucking nuts.
And if you're saying, like, I think the concern is, you wouldn't say on paper we've had a particularly difficult start to the season. On paper, you look at that on paper, going, there's a lot more points there that should be on the board that aren't. But you've got to go out and earn them, and I don't think Liverpool have earned the right to play.
No, even the Bournemouth one. I mean, the Bournemouth one was just an anomaly. It was an absolute freak.
The Bournemouth one,
forget about that one.
That's one of those freak results. If we go through, and Palace was okay. United was an absolute disaster. Fulham wasn't great. Newcastle was okay in patches.
Lucky.
A lot of it has been okay in patches, and that's been the frustration.
No, Arsenal fan circle there. He's dead right. The table doesn't lie.
No.
I mean, it can exaggerate things at early parts of the season, but once you get 9-10 games in, that gives you a bit of a reflection of where you're really at. But it's just not fucking good enough.
But I think a few of the players now need to stop with the. I'm not into the tweets of, we know we can do better, we'll do better. Show me on the pitch.
Sure. Yeah. Turn up on the day.
Don't talk it. Show me. Because I'll be honest, this is the thing that we mock United for years. All these silly apologies and we can do better. Well, no, don't tell me you can do better. Do it. I'm sick of hearing we can do better. I haven't seen you actually do it yet. So, I mean, there you go. Brian
is making a point there about the 4-2-3-1.
What about 4-2-3-1? Fab and Thiago holding, Salah, Firmino, Diaz in the 3, and Nunes up top.
Whatever. I don't care at the minute. I try it. Fuck it. Do it.
Let's face it. It can't be any worse.
for that 20 minutes, or 25 minutes at the end of the first half, when we went 4-4-2, when Salah went central, and Bobby was close to him, we looked a better, more dangerous side. Not fantastic by any stretch, but we looked more threatening. And that was because we were with the two strikers close together. And it made a difference. It gave them a different question. Sides prepare for us because they know we play 4-3-3. They know how we play. We haven't really changed it that much. So change it. What's the worst that can happen? It can't get worse. But you've got it's not as if we haven't got the players to effect change. We do. You have 3 number 9s at the club. We can use them. We have Elliott and Carvalho as like number 10s. Play them in that position. You want to play 2 holding mids? Fine. Use Henderson to rotate the other 2 and play that way. No problem with it whatsoever. You want Trent and Tsimikas to play as orthodox fullbacks? Fine. Try it. Give it a go, for fuck's sake.
I
know.
What's that? Oh yeah, so Craig saying, yeah, Chris, it reeks of turn the corner manager talk. Yeah, there is a little bit of that feeling around. Is this the time we turn the corner and all that?
Nah.
It's a bit silly. It just
looks like we're fucking turning into the skid at the minute.
We're just going around in circles. I don't know about anything else.
Yeah, Jono, it is, mate. It is deflating. It is fucking frustrating and annoying.
But people in the chat, if people in the chat don't think me and Kev are deflated, you're kidding yourselves. This is shite. We don't like doing shows and we have to talk about how crap Liverpool are. But we have to give it an honest opinion.
If you're Mark Kavanagh's comment there, can you throw that? It's playing the same 4, playing the same 3, and playing the same 3 up top. Who would you have started today out of the 11 that played, Mark? I'm interested, genuinely, because
I thought, hand on heart,
knowing that the players were there that were injured, that couldn't start, who would you start?
I would still have started. I thought Elliott would still have started ahead of Henderson, only because it's his first game back from injury, and I thought he's only just been training with England. So that's what I personally.
But the back 5 wouldn't have changed, would it?
No, back 5 wouldn't have changed because Ibu's not fit yet, and the front 3. Now knowing that Diaz and Nunes and Jota were carrying injuries, they kind of pick themselves. Yeah. If not knowing that,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't have picked Carvalho because I still think with Carvalho at the moment, he's
an impact player.
He's a better impact player than a starter. And look, but he's only a kid.
Yeah, he's learning his game as well. I think Chris just froze there. Lovely, good timing, mate. Chris's Wi-Fi has decided to have his funny 5 minutes. Blue there. Even our injured players ain't all that. Not many standout players we're missing. Naby is for all of his faults and their legion, and I've waxed about Naby for a good while. He's a decent player, but and he would have been a better option than what we had.
Am I back?
But you are back. You are back.
Sorry about that.
I don't know if any of you guys, if anyone in the chat might have seen the.
I know my Wi-Fi glitched like Liverpool's defense today.
Yeah, I get it, Mark, but we can't affect change in October. So
no,
and you can play different styles and play different formation and attack it size and defend in different ways with the size that we have.
I don't think we committed to a style of play first half, did we? Some were pressing high, some were holding back. It was very mishmash, which wasn't great.
Did you see? I think everyone would have seen it. That video that was going around about Klopp. It was in the embargoed part of yesterday's press conference. Last night. Now, his defensive trend is rightly so. He's going to come out and defend his player. But when he's talking about the press and how the press is supposed to work, you take that conversation and how it's supposed to work and translate it to the performance in that first 20 minutes. They're night and day. They don't match. They don't marry. So it's either the message isn't getting across or the players don't trust it or a mix of both. It's not an either or situation. It's like something's not translating into what he wants to what he's getting. Do you get me? But look, it's 10-6. I want some food. I actually want to fucking drink. I got cans in the fridge and I just want to drink now.
Oh, do you know what you need to do, mate? Watch some reality TV and realize do you know what? Fuck it. Life's not so bad.
No, I'm gonna find a box set and just sit down and drink.
No, I think what I'll be doing, I'll be in the back garden now playing football with your daughter, which, to be honest, it's far more. It's far more enjoyable.
That's good therapy.
And it gets it off you. But listen, look, tomorrow we'll have Fatback 4 with Gav and the lads, who I'm sure will rip into Liverpool even more, because why wouldn't you at the moment? We're not doing great. Monday, I don't know if it'll be winners or losers, or it might be a preview show.
It'll be a bit of both, I'd say. Oh, God, where do you want to go?
And then Kev and tuning me again on Tuesday when we're going to talk about the Rangers game.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, dear. There you go. Craig Lowe says we deserve two brews. So
yeah, Billy's made a good point there, actually. You might have to go all out in the cup competitions. Whatever about the domestic cups, I think the Champions League has become all important at the minute.
It feels that way at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which is annoying, but
Yeah, look,
If
we'll
you
get
can't-
into that.
We'll get into
another night,
permutations and all that
100%. I just want to go and have a fucking can there.
But listen, guys, thanks very much for joining the chat. Majority of you, we had a good laugh and a chat with. The ones who act like Muppets, I think they're gone now, so that's fine. But listen, Liverpool weren't great. Well, let's see where we go in the next game. But it's on. Cheers for joining in, and we'll speak to you guys soon.